What's up, everybody? Today we're going to be doing a pretty extensive video on Left 4 Dead 2. We're going to be doing a tier list from survivors, common infected, special infected, uncommon infected, and all their variants, and then we have one unreleased special infected that Valve decided not to add into the game, but would have been a really cool special infected. Technically it got scrapped, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. So how the rating is going to go is it's going to go from F, which is my least favorite, all the way to favorite, which would be, of course, my favorite. Let's get right into it. My least favorite out of all of these, we're going to go survivors, commons, and then just keep on going. But I'm going to be generous. My least favorite on this list is going to be Francis. I mean, he was like key for Left 4 Dead 1. He was a bit of an extensive survivor. He didn't like anything. He doesn't like stairs, elevators, boats, nothing. The next thing on our tier list is going to be the SWAT or armored zombies from Left 4 Dead 2. Pretty sure they only appeared on Parish, which is like my favorite map too. I didn't like these is because the only way you were able to kill him was from either punching them and shooting them in the back, or punching them, turning around, and then killing them with a sword or a knife or any melee weapon. So I found him pretty annoying whenever I was playing the game. My next one is going to be the Screamer. He would have been a really cool special infected, but I'm putting him at a S tier, F tier. Is because he didn't get added to the game, so technically he's not a real infected. I mean, you can access him with mods and whatnot, but he is not a good special infected. He would have, once alerted, he would have ran away to a safe location, screamed. His scream would have been the Hunter Scream. I don't like him, but also at the same time he could have been a cool infected. But I put him at F tiers because he was never put into the game. Our next one is going to be the Left 4 Dead. Nah, I like the smokers. Okay, so that's going to be it for F tier. It's going to be Francis, the security zombie, and the Screamer. Let's move up to E tier. I'm going to put that as the Billy Gibbs Jr. I'm putting him this low because his spawn rate is way too low. For somebody who's supposed to be in the building in dead center, I've been playing since the game came out, and I've never run into him ever once. But, I mean, I do enjoy his car, and that's a cool way to exit the mall, was using his car to escape. The next E tier is going to be the Bride Witch. I just didn't like it. I mean, it appeared on the passing. Yeah. It appeared on the passing whenever you're going through the map, and you'd come up on looked like a wedding going on before the infection took place, and there was just a crying witch. I mean, it was a cool idea, but I don't think it was executed to its full potential. See, the next one is going to be whatever tank this is. I don't remember that one, but it's going to be that tank. I've never seen that tank. I don't like the look of that tank compared to the other two tanks, but I can't really hate on it because it is a tank, and it's like the zombie embodiment of a bodybuilder, which is kind of cool. I think that's going to be it for E tier. Let's move on to D tier. Let's say D tier is not necessarily bad, it's just not necessarily my favorite. It's still out there, but not my favorite. And that's going to be the mud crawlers in the swamp maps on Left 4 Dead 2. It was really cool. Like, it was a zombie that was mainly in mud that if hit you, you would get part of your screen covered by mud. Cool idea, bad execution. Kind of like what I was saying. That's like a lot of these lower tier ones. Kind of like with the Billy Gibbs Jr. Didn't have a high enough spawn rate, so he's not up there. But it's still a very cool concept. Our next one is going to be Nick. I didn't really enjoy Nick as a character. Like, him and Ellis were a pretty good combo together, but kind of like Francis in a way. It's just he was too negative. But I mean, you can't have somebody that's always positive. But he was a really cool character at the end of it. Our next D tier is going to be the construction zombies on, I think, Dead Center and a couple other maps. These were annoying to kind of combat is because they would not get distracted by a pipe bomb is because they're wearing those earmuffs on top of their head. But I mean, they needed to add a little bit of like difficulty to Swords of Common, even though they are uncommon and infected, but they still act like a common. The next one is going to be the Survivor zombie. And out of all my years playing, I've only seen him once. And he resides on the passing he resides on the passing. If you see him, he carries some useful items like a med kit, I believe a Molotov. And you cannot kill him with bullets, you have to kill him with a melee, sorry. So it was kind of cool to run into him for the first time and only time. I'm pretty sure I clipped it on my PC, my old one. But I recently got an upgrade, but he was a really cool infected, for sure. Let's move on to C tier. This is like the middle of the bunch. We're going to put the Left 4 Dead 2 Hunter in there. And most of these, like, where I'm doing it off of the different games and say like different genders for the boomer, it's only because of the look of them. Nothing because they don't function any differently. It's just the look of them. I understand why he's not wearing sleeves, but I don't like how it looks. It looks weird, especially while playing versus. It's just weird. Let's move on to the next one, which is going to be the Left 4 Dead 1 boomer. Around this time, the special infected just started to mutate, so there was not a lot about him. That's why in Left 4 Dead 2 we got 3 more special infected, because over time it still mutates and whatnot, but the beginning look of the boomer, it looks weird in my opinion. I didn't really like him. Like, function-wise, he works good, but overall, I just didn't really like it. Let's move on to our next one, which is going to be the CEDA zombies from throughout some of the Left 4 Dead 2 maps, most prominently on Dead Center. I liked how they were starting to add uncommon infected that adapted to, or well, was based around the area you were in, like the carnival zombies being on Dead Center, the CEDA zombies being next to a containment zone, and researching. The CEDA zombies, more unlike the other ones, they were different. They actually dropped something useful sometimes if you killed them, like Boomer Bile. They dropped Boomer Bile. And trust me, if you ever run into Boomer Bile, I always pick it up, because it's a good way to get a horde off of you without... It's just a good way to get the horde off of you. Or you could throw it on different enemies and have the commons attack them. So I saw the CEDA zombies being actually decently useful. The next one is going to be... Now I think that's all for C tier. Let's move on to B tier. The first one in B tier is going to be the female version of the boomer. I love how they added different genders for the special infected. It added a lot of variety to the game. There was no really big downsides behind it. I just feel like it deserves to go into the B tier. Our next one is going to be the Left 4 Dead 1 model of the smoker. It's just him and the Left 4 Dead 2's smoker look too different. They're like two peas in a pod. Well, one's doesn't look that good. Like the Left 4 Dead 1 one, it has way too many tumors growing on it. The skin tone's a bit weird. I don't know. I guess I've just played so much Left 4 Dead 2 that I just got used to the Left 4 Dead 2 model, and I enjoyed the Left 4 Dead 2 model more than the Left 4 Dead 1 model. Let's move on to the next one, which is going to be the next survivor. It's going to be Rochelle. She was a good addition to Left 4 Dead 2. She added a bit of variety. She was a newscaster before the green flu broke out, and she she was I don't she was a good survivor. Nowhere near my favorite, but she was still a good survivor overall. The next one is going to be Lewis. I mess with Lewis on a real note though. Lewis was a office worker before the green flu broke out and played a lot of. He was like the one that broke the fourth wall the most, or added little Easter eggs in the game. Like on his desk before the outbreak broke out, he had a I forgot what it was called, but one of the characters from Team Fortress 2, and then there's a certain quote where he says, "I love Steam," because Steam was on. Because Left 4 Dead was on Steam, obviously, because it's made by Valve. But he was a really good addition to the survivors. Sorry, I had to plug in my mouse or else it was gonna die like mid-recording. The next B tier is going to be the Left 4 Dead 1 model, the tank. He was like the embodiment of an amazing bodybuilder, just minus the tiny head and tiny legs. But I mean, who else doesn't want to skip leg day? I love skipping leg day. It's a joke. But the next one is going to be the Charger. I'm putting him here just because he's a meat beater. He looks like he's never passed November a day in his life. Okay, let's move on to A tier. Here's where a lot of stuff starts coming. First A tier is going to be the Left 4 Dead 2 Infected. Their models are so nice. They're very decomposed. They just look really, really nice. Probably one of my favorite looking out of this is Common Infected. The next one is going to be the Left 4 Dead 1 Common Infected. They're about the same. I just liked how the Left 4 Dead 2 looked a lot more. I don't know. The next one is going to be the Left 4 Dead 2 Boomer. It had to be here somewhere. We kind of had to go 1, 2, 3 on that one. But I liked this model the most, and I've gotten used to this model the most because I play a lot of Left 4 Dead 2. I rarely play with Left 4 Dead 1, which I should probably start playing it more. The next one is going to be the Left 4 Dead 2 version of the Smoker. Sorry, don't yell at me in the comments. Going to be the Left 4 Dead 2 Smoker. I like his model. I like how he acts in the game. It's just pretty variety. The next one's going to be the Witch. I hate the Witch, especially on it's not Swamp Fever, it's the other one. But she was all over the place, and dude, last time I played that map was like 4 years ago, and I kept on aggroing the Witch, so I ended up going down a lot. The next one is going to be our last uncommon infected, which is the Clown Zombies. I love those ones because if you bashed them, you would get a nose honk. And to get an achievement, you had to go around and bonk all 8 on the nose, all different types of the clowns, which was actually really cool. Okay, let's move on to S tier. It's going to be the tank, because big buff guy, you already know. He had a lot of variety in the game as well, especially with his model. His model looked really, really, really good. The next one is a bit weird to be up here, but the Spitter. Nobody has ever seen a special infected until Left 4 Dead 2 that looked like her or acted like her, that's why she's special. But I don't know, it was different. It was like the most different special infected we got. The next one is going to be the Jockey. And that's because, well, the Jockey's the Jockey. Little hunchback monster. He was annoying to fight in multiple different ways. I cannot tell you how many times I've been playing versus and him steal me from the other survivors. But overall, he was an amazing special infected. Great model, great everything. The next one is going to be Bill. We love Bill. Thank you for your sacrifice, Bill. Rest in peace. But he just didn't function the way I wanted him to function. I am stupid. No, his model looks amazing. Disregard what I just said. His model looks amazing, but I just don't like how he dies. I mean, somebody had to, but for plot development. But I mean, why did it have to be him? Why couldn't it have been Francis? But then again, it did tie into the story pretty well. And of course, the leader of the group always has to die, or else it just doesn't feel right. Alright, our last S tier is going to be Ellis. I grew up playing Ellis as for the Survivor, that one, and Bill. I love those characters. I don't know why, I just do. But they don't deserve my favorite spot. Let's move on to my favorite spots. I have 3 favorites, one from each. One from Infected, one from Left 4 Dead 2, and one from Left 4 Dead 1. Zoe is because her backstory, it was amazing in my opinion. College student that watched horror movies a lot and had a cop as a dad. It was just, her character development was amazing. I just really liked her as a character. Our next one is going to be Coach. All I gotta say is one line: I'm gonna be a one-man cheeseburger apocalypse. That's all I gotta say, and you already know he deserves to go into S tier. And then our last one is going to be the Hunter. I love playing as him in Versus, Left 4 Dead 1 and 2. I enjoy playing him as Versus. He is a very, very cool Special Infected. Probably one of my favorites by far. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and leave a like down below if you did enjoy, and possibly leave a sub if you would like. And remember, it's free, so you can unsub at any time. I would greatly appreciate it. And that's going to be all for me. Temptic out.